Chapter 3: Peace and War. Importance of peace. Peace is like the glue that holds our world together. It means that countries and people are not fighting or hurting each other. When there is peace, everyone can have a good life with food, healthcare, and education. It helps us to solve problems without using violence, like talking things out instead of fighting. Peace also makes countries stronger economically, so more jobs are available and life gets better for everyone. It is important because it keeps people safe, helps us share resources wisely, and let countries work together to solve big global issues like climate change and diseases. In a nutshell, peace makes the world a safer and happier place for all of us. War brings destruction. War brings a lot of destruction, and it is not good for anyone. It is like a big terrible storm that can hurt in different ways. You might have read about the First World War and the Second World War. The destruction caused by the 2 atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki during Second World War cannot be forgotten. It had killed more than 1 lakh people and left millions of people with permanent disabilities. Many children are still born with disabilities in Japan. It not only caused destruction to lives and properties, but also disrupted economic activities in Japan. It is also remembered as the Black Day in the history of the world. The world has experienced another war in recent years. The Iraq War began in 2003 when the United States and its allies invaded Iraq, claiming that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. Saddam Hussein's government was overthrown, but the country descended into violence and insurgency. The war caused destruction in Iraq, and thousands of people lost their lives. Nobody can neglect the fact that war is not the right way to make anyone a peace lover. If a country wants to bring peace to the world, it should find ways other than war. War may change the scenario for a few days, but its impact may last longer. Actually, war kills many other innocent people and sows the seeds of enmity in the hearts of many people. It may trigger another war sooner or later. But the way the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, has shown non-violence may not bear any fruit instantly, but it is the most effective way to change the scenario in a peaceful way. The first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, evolved the principle of Panchsheel. With the help of this principle, we can bring about peace in the world. Steps towards peace. Peace needs tolerance. Tolerance is the only way through which we can bring peace, not only in the family or society, but also in the world. This is very unfortunate that people around the world are losing the power of tolerance. That is why quarrel in families and societies have become common. Children cannot tolerate the strict words of their parents or their elders. In society, people have forgotten to forgive others because they have lost the power of tolerance. If anyone gives a good suggestion to another person in the society, the latter takes it as someone challenging his or her ego. And instead of following the good advice, he or she quarrels with the advisor. The same thing is happening in the case of countries. There are so many countries in the world that pass unnecessary remarks about other countries. And the other countries also make comments in return which may result in conflicts. Therefore, the better way to bring peace is to increase the power of tolerance. Story time. There was music in the air. Children stopped their play and said, "Hark to the nightingale!" And men who were working in pain and perspiring at their daily task stopped and smiled and said, "Joyful is the story of the nightingale." The bird's business was music, and right well did he do his lovely part. Work brings hunger, as it should, and after the labor of his many songs, the little singer wanted a meal. It was dusk. Out blinked the stars in the blue. The poet Cowper shall tell the story in other words. Had cheered the village with his song, nor yet at eve his note suspended. nor yet when eventide was ended, began to feel as well he might. What was that on the ground, under the hedge at the wayside? It sparkled with a fair and beautiful, though tiny ray. Light! All men and women and children love light as they love music. Each is a blessed gift, one to the eyes, the others to the ears. What made the light? It was a little beetle on the underside of which glows the beam of phosphorus. People call it the glowworm. The bird made music. The glowworm made light. Each gave a precious gift to the world. Alas, birds eat worms and beetles. The music maker saw the light maker. When, looking eagerly around, he spied far off upon the ground a something shining in the dark, and knew the glowworm by his spark. So, stooping down from hawthorn top, he thought to put him in his crop. But why should not both bird and worm live as friends in the same world? Why should music eat up light? One was a minstrel, the other a lamp. Why should one spoil the other? Hear how the poet reports what the beetle said to the worm, aware of his intent, harangued him thus right eloquent. "Did you admire my lamp," quoth he, "as much as I your minstrelsy? You would abhor to do me wrong, as much as I to spoil your song. For was the self-same power divine taught you to sing and me to shine, that you with music, I with light, might beautify and cheer the night." The nightingale was touched by the beetle's prayer. He let him go and went away singing. The songster heard his short oration, and warbling out his approbation, released him as my story tells, and found a supper somewhere else. Cowper then turns to human beings and asks them to dwell in peace, that brother should not war with brother, and worry and devour each other, but sing and shine with sweet consent, till life's poor transient night is spent. The nightingale, the glowworm, France, Germany, Britain, Italy, Spain, Austria, Russia, America, China, Japan, all these should live at peace. Some can make music, others light. Each can give gifts to the world, and the work of none should be hurt or hindered by war. What can Japan give? Lovely vases and pictures and silk and temples. What can China give? Porcelain, ivory, carvings and quaint pagodas and ancient songs. What can India give? Palaces, temples, beautiful shawls and carpets, and the holy hymns of the Brahmins. What can Russia give? Corn and timber, and metal, and delightful tales and folklore. What can Italy give? Pictures, statues, music, poetry, and the monuments in the grand cities of Venice and Florence and Rome. What can Spain give? Charming cathedrals and vineyards, and orange groves, and pictures and stories and ballads. What can Germany give? Music, and fine old houses and churches, and poetry, and fairy tales, and ever so many useful books. What can France give? Fair cities, castles, mansions, China silk, tapestry, poetry, music, noble thinkers. What can America give? Corn, metal, wood, fruit, machines beyond number, and the proud spirit of the eagle. What can the British Isles give? I need not tell you of the glorious things in the dear Emerald Isle, the hills and glens of Scotland, the woods and rich plains and swarming cities of England and Wales. You and I are glad to breathe the sweet air that blows from the seas all about our fine old lands, the lands of Shakespeare, Scott, and Goldsmith. Children, say to yourselves, when we grow up, we will not vote for war. We will not stop the music or put out the light of any people on the earth. Let them all bring their good gifts to the help of the world, and thank each other as friends and neighbors should. In other simple words, our approach should be constructive, not destructive. Brainwave of inspiration. A number of people have contributed a lot to bring peace not only in India but in all over the world. Mahatma Buddha and Lord Mahavir were two great people during the ancient times who contributed a lot to bringing peace and prosperity in society. Many great kings of India followed their path of peace. Emperor Ashoka was one of them. He experienced the pain of destruction when he attacked Kalinga. Later, the message of peace spread to other countries from India. Mahatma Gandhi was also a great peace lover. He followed the path of non-violence and truth to fight against the most powerful government of that time. His way of fighting became so popular that many other leaders in the world adopted his principle. Nelson Mandela was one such leader. He wanted to make his own country free from British rule. He also followed the path of non-violence and finally made his country free with the help of his countrymen. Aung San Suu Kyi is another leader of Myanmar who wants to bring democracy to her country through peaceful means. She has been under house arrest for the last few decades. She has also received the Nobel Peace Prize for her contribution to peace. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar worked for fairness and equality, and APJ Abdul Kalam promoted science and education. All these special things have made the world a better and more peaceful place.